Please listen carefully.
Hello, universe. Welcome to the Optimus Daily Update. I'm Summers McKay.
And I'm Christy Jansen, and we are part of the team behind the Optimus Daily, making solutions the news. We bring you reader-funded solutions news every day in order to change the tenor of news media, social media, and the direction of your day to help us all get focused on solutions and exciting events in the world.
7 days a week, we publish positive news stories written by award-winning journalists and delivered online to your inbox and through our social channels. And also, we are sharing these solutions in a commute-worthy, walk-worthy, home office-worthy, walk-your-dog-worthy, lots-fun-worthy podcast. Christy, I can see you on camera now that we're using this other thing, and you're distracting me.
I'm sorry.
Today is Thursday, the 17th of February, 2022. Are you amusing yourself, young lady?
I am. I'm trying to be a little silly. One of the things I really miss about working with people in person is the opportunity to really laugh hard together.
Yes. Well, you are definitely working on that today. I think recording the pod on video is laugh-worthy. I appreciate the humor. Actually, my headline kind of looks like a funny mad scientist.
I know. I would like to see you wear this.
I should totally wear
What's
this
your headline,
thing.
Summers? Let's go right into the news.
Okay, let's just jump into it. Well, this time we are going to tell you about a bizarre-looking helmet. The helmet is composed of what is known as metamaterial. That means it's made up of many smaller units called resonators that come together to create a spectacular supernetwork. Now, if you look at the picture of this helmet, you'll basically see that it is like a 3D printed, multicolored helmet with lots of different tubes and lots of different sensors. This extravagant helmet could be the future of brain scans. Everybody knows I love the brain. I mean, I think a lot of people love brains, so I'm not going to own loving brains.
But you particularly like talking about the brain and brain scans and brain studies and things like that.
This is definitely a story that one of our writers knew I would love. We at the Optimus Daily love covering great medical inventions and technology, whether it's magnetic devices for limb control or antibiotic resistant sensors or little micro robot surgery, heroes. So thanks to the playful design, the piece of headwear that we're talking about here looks like it's straight from a mad scientist laboratory.
And this is going to be used for brain scanning? What is it going to be used for, Summers?
Yes. So what the helmet can do is it can bend and absorb a number of types of waves, including electromagnetic, sound, and radio waves. Now, depending on how you construct the repeating pattern of resonators, you can target a desired wave type. So this idea of the helmet, which is composed of a number of different sensors that are flexible, you can use it for all of these different traditional brain scan processes to increase the clarity of the image. Further details on how the team constructed the device can be found in their paper published in Advanced Materials. But the use of these magnificent metamaterials spread far and wide. The inventor of the helmet, Jin Zhang, explains this device could hugely improve MRI imaging quality, improving medical diagnosis and reducing cost and time and money. They can also be designed as acoustic material, which can block sound while still allowing airflow, leading for the invention of possibly quieter airplane engines or air conditioners. And all of these resonators are just 3D printed plastic tubes that are then wrapped in copper wiring to order them and conduct the electric waves.
Wait, I'm confused. So it's the metamaterials themselves that could end up making quieter airplane engines and quieter air conditioners. It's not the helmets.
Not that we're wearing a helmet.
It's the things that are being used in making the helmet.
Yes.
Will help make quieter airplane engines and quieter air conditioners.
Right.
Okay.
It's funny because this is once again a highly visual story that is very difficult to describe on a podcast. But what I would describe it as is imagine you see somebody wearing a head full of multicolored rollers, right? Their hair is all in tons of rollers and they're all multicolored, right? So there's tons of little tubes all over your head. And then there are tons of plastic tubes all over your head and then little metal prongs holding them all together. So it literally looks like your hair is in rollers, but all of the material together is designed to conduct brain and wave activity.
Definitely sounds like something out of a mad scientist laboratory.
Yes.
like a cartoon mad scientist.
Right. So really how it works is because there's now multiple sensors and they can be redirected in multiple ways. That's how the brainwaves can be captured. That's how magnetic imaging can be captured more accurately. And it's a solution that focuses on, just like we have, really expressed, like a non-invasive way to get more information in order to make better diagnostic decisions.
Well, speaking of mad scientists, laboratories.
Yes. Perfect.
My article goes along that same kind of route. The headline reads, Precision Fermentation, the Food Evolution to Watch.
Oh, are there scobies?
Well, kind of, because that is a kind of fermenting that, creates a useful food product. But what we're talking about here is actually like cellular meat and lab-grown foods, which is really on the rise. And that's going to be likely one of our major food sources going into the future. We always like to bring you guys tips and ideas on what's coming. So I think precision fermentation is one of those things that's coming. We've seen a lot of growth recently in plant-based meats, alternatives to other kinds of meats. The pandemic saw demand for this kind of meat rise tremendously over the last couple of years. But now there's a new meat alternative, which we've talked about here before. It's starting to receive tons of investment over the last 3 years. And we're talking about lab-grown meat. And this is lab-grown dairy products, lab-grown eggs, lab-grown chocolate, honey. So it's not just meat, it's also other kinds of products that are grown in a lab using precision fermentation. And what precision fermentation is it's a biotechnology also known as recombinant protein production, but it works by reprogramming microorganisms to output things like meat or particular plant proteins or particular dairy proteins. And if you were to compare the molecular makeup of the real thing, like something that was actually grown in a field, it would look exactly the same. At the microorganism level, it's exactly the same. So if you have a lab-grown steak compared to a regular steak, they are bioidentical. Same thing with lab-grown cow milk and dairy-grown cow milk, because the proteins are identical. And because of that, they taste exactly the same. They are the same. Mm-hmm. It's just they are created in a different way. And so it does feel a little bit mad scientist, Summers, and it's probably going to be...
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm not going to lie, it seems a little scary.
A little scary.
But it's sort of, we were all uncomfortable with Dolly getting, the sheep cloning, but
sure.
Now that's not so scary. So
here's how I like to think about it. I don't know if you are a fan of Star Trek.
Of course I'm a fan of Star Trek. You know this.
Okay. So you know how, they go up to the food replicator every, yeah. They don't bring a bunch of food on the ship. They bring a bunch of materials, which then the food replicator puts it together. It's like it 3D prints your food.
3D printing the food, right? And your hair curlers.
Yeah, Captain Picard ordering, Earl Grey tea, hot, and
right.
then the cup gets printed, the tea gets printed, it gets created at that exact temperature. You can add some sugar if you want to, cream, it all is there. So that's the future of food. And this is pretty cool, I think.
Okay, so why should we use this method? Yes, It's cool, and yes, it's interesting, but what are the economic and sort of lifestyle and solution benefits of this?
So first of all, when you have to grow an entire cow to get a cup of milk, that takes... 2 years, 3 years minimum. And then if you want to turn that cow then into the products, the meat and the skins, whatever, there's a lot of waste left over. And it takes a tremendous amount of resources to grow that animal. And you want to only use it for the meat protein, all that muscle. What do you do all the rest of that stuff? That's a very carbon intensive way of making food. This could be much less intensive.
Right.
It's basically just using exactly the materials you need, and there's some energy that goes into it. It's just a lower footprint there. And less water.
Okay.
You need less water. You need less materials.
To create the same nutritionally beneficial opportunities for humans to eat them.
Right. And it feels really weird and crazy. Like, no. This is I can't imagine eating something that's grown in a lab. But we've been using fermentation for thousands of years. We were talking about kombucha.
Yes.
Beer requires fermentation. Bread, we use fermentation. So it's not that strange if we just get, out of the way of using this new technology.
Well, exactly. It's the lab grown, the mad scientist, genetically
Exactly.
modified. Well, most everything we do actually eat is genetically modified in some way because it's been farmed. We didn't go forage everything that we've eaten, so it is just it's getting comfortable with a new technology.
And don't worry, it's going to be a while before this is really on the market. I mean, it's still way more expensive because, like, for example, precision fermented milk currently is estimated to cost about 4 times more than regular milk because it's not at the economies of scale.
Right.
This is still in a very initial phase. I think Singapore is the only country to have made it legal to have this kind of meat, but it's on the horizon, and we're interested in it.
Well, you know what? Economies change, businesses change, industries change. You can only see smoking on Netflix now. I don't know. The world's different. I think that kind of wraps us up for today. We've got a few other great stories still on the love, healthy, intimate connections and relationships beat. Education surrounding pleasure leads to safer sex behaviors. Sex advice from those who've been doing it the longest. And sex tips for seniors, what older women need to know.
We have Rethinking Consent Part 2, offering a sexy gift. We did a story yesterday on consent, which was about offering a sexy invitation. So this is the follow-up to that story. And finally, this tasty and nutritious blue soda doesn't have any food coloring in it. There's a few other stories on today's Optimist Daily, but that's it for now on the Optimist Daily Update. We just are grateful for you all for being here and listening to us, talk about these crazy new things.
It's Crazy Mad Scientist Day. Yeah.
Exactly. Weird helmets and lab-grown food. But we promise to keep sharing positive solution-based stories with ideas on how we can all participate in a changing future and ensure that it is changed for the good. We promise to keep covering current events with accurate, legitimate sources and offering you the kinds of information we all appreciate so we can all help chart new paths for all of us.
Become an emissary, people. It's what we need. I usually say please, so I'll say please. Please become an emissary. $5 a month helps support reader-funded independent journalism. Join us on theoptimistdaily.com and help us keep the Optimist Daily free to all who need it, supported by those who can. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day, and we'll be back tomorrow with more solutions.
I think we may have an interview tomorrow. Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Okay. Solutions and interviews. It'll be awesome.